It's Monday, January 20. In the headlines, Jamaica's first national hero, Marcus Garvey, granted posthumous clemency by U.S. President Joe Biden. Regionally, Guyana's government tables $1.382 trillion national budget. And in sports, football, an update on the Jamaica Premier League, and in the creases with cricket, both the male and female Windies cricket team suffered defeat in their latest matches. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica's first national hero, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, has been granted posthumous clemency. U.S. President Joe Biden issued the order as part of his final act as he steps down as the United States' 46th president. In the official communique from the White House, President Biden described Marcus Garvey as a renowned civil rights and human rights leader who was convicted of mail fraud in 1923 and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. President Calvin Coolidge commuted his sentence in 1927. In the communique, Biden says, quote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. described Mr. Garvey as, quote, the first man of color in the history of the United States to lead and develop a mass movement, end quote. President Biden furthers, quote, advocates and lawmakers praise his global advocacy and impact and highlight the injustice underlying his criminal conviction, end quote. For years, Garvey's son, Dr. Julius Garvey, members of the UNIA and Jamaican government and the Caribbean community tirelessly advocated for the national hero to be pardoned. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has issued a statement thanking the outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden, the Jamaican diaspora, and advocates worldwide for their efforts in achieving this outcome. Former Prime Minister of Jamaica, P.J. Patterson, in his response, is quoted by the press saying, our ultimate goal must remain the posthumous exoneration of Marcus Garvey. The timing, immediately preceding Dr. King's holiday, powerfully connects two towering figures in the fight for human dignity and equality, end quote. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is emphasizing the importance of productivity as a solution to inflation, urging Jamaicans to adopt smarter work strategies to drive economic growth. He discussed the issue at the official opening ceremony of the CB Group's state-of-the-art $15 billion processing plant in St. Catherine recently. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is arguing against the notion that wage increases alone can combat rising costs. Noting concerns in the public about the rise in food prices, Dr. Holness says the answer should be to increase productivity.
But that is not the solution. The solution to inflation is to increase productivity.
He clarified that productivity was not solely about hard work, but also about efficiency.
A large part of the cost of the goods you consume is the length of time and the cost it to business to get approvals and permitting to get to market. That is a part of cost of living. That cost of doing business becomes a part of the cost of the product you purchase.
Agriculture Minister Floyd Green, in his remarks, noted the resilience of the poultry sector, despite challenges such as drought or the impact of Hurricane Beryl in 2024.
Our broiler poultry sector will still show 3.3% growth at the end of 2024.
He believes this Caribbean boilers investment will act as a catalyst in agricultural production.
This air chill processing plant will increase production by more than 30 million kilograms. 30 million kilograms. What that means in real terms is that we can treat with our own food security, and then, as Matthew has said, look at treating with food security for the region. We can seriously replace all extra-regional chicken meat exports, and that has to be our vision.
The plant is located within the group's 1,000-acre eco-industrial park in Hill Run, St. Catherine, known as The Nest. It has a processing capacity of 12,500 birds per hour and operates on a zero-waste model, housing several integrated operations: the CB Air Chill Plant, Hill Farms for training and research, Harvest Hub's 500-acre crop and orchard farm, a protein recovery plant, and a water treatment facility that recycles 100% of its water for irrigation. Tax Administration Jamaica is advising business persons that the annual income tax due date is Monday, March 17, 2025, as the usual March 15 due date falls on the weekend. This means that all categories of income tax filers have until March 17 to file their annual income tax returns for the year 2024. To declare their estimated income and tax payable for the year 2025 online as mandatory by the authority. The TAJ issued a statement encouraging taxpayers to begin making the necessary preparations to file their income tax returns, which become due in 8 weeks. Income tax filers are being reminded that they must file and pay early to avoid the rush and possibility of late penalties due to the high usage of the TAJ online platform on the due date. All companies, organizations, self-employed persons, and employed persons with other sources of income must file their returns online as required by law. All filing must be done using the administration's tax portal at www.jamaicatax.gov.jm. Time now for the business report.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, who has held the top spot at the Jamaica Stock Exchange for 20 years, is set to retire. The Jamaica Stock Exchange was designated by Bloomberg as the #1 stock exchange in the world in 2015 and 2018. That said, Chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Stephen Whittingham, says internal as well as external local and overseas applications were received from people seeking to fill the post of Managing Director of the JSE. Applications for the post closed on Wednesday. The JN Group says it's looking to divest JN Fund Managers, its wealth management arm. The group says it is evaluating a number of bids received with the help of a consultancy firm to ensure the most favorable outcome. Recently, JN Group booked a deal with British Caribbean insurance company BCIC to purchase JN General Insurance, JNGI. JN Financial Group initiated these sales as a part of a broader strategy to divest non-core assets and bolster its capital base. Head of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, revealed that data from the Economic and Social Survey of Jamaica 2023 indicates that micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, increased in number and sales relative to 2022. providing micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises with the opportunities to access services and facilitating access to financing to bolster their initiatives represents a pivotal stride towards advancing economic development and mitigating poverty, Dr. Henry said. Sales from MSMEs rose by 1.2%, totaling $207.4 billion, driven by the performance of micro and medium-sized firms across various sectors, including electricity and water supply, mining and quarry. For the trading period ending January 17, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Toll road operator Jamaica Highway Limited, with 20,316,943 units traded, represented 55.57% of market sales volume. Microfinance lender Lasco Financial Services Limited, with 6,027,049 units traded, represented 16.48% of market sales volume. Advertising agency and real estate holding firm Kintyre Holdings JA Limited, with 1,426,225 units traded, accounted for 3.9% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market, and these rates are set by the Bank of Jamaica. On January 17, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $82.88 million was purchased and US $93.28 million was sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned 80 cents per dollar traded, selling the US at $157.49 and buying the US at $156.69. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $2.75 in profit per transaction, with selling at $110.23 and buying at $107.48. The British pound yielded Forex traders $7.30 in profits, with selling at $193.44 and buying at $186.14. For our credit report tip of the day, starting your own business after facing unemployment and debt may seem overwhelming, but with the right steps, you can establish strong business credit and set yourself up for success. Here's a roadmap to help you get started. First, separate your finances. Open a business bank account and help to keep it distinct from your personal finances. Then register your business. Incorporate your business or form a limited liability company to legally separate your personal liability. We now turn to building something from nothing, boosting resilience and recovery. Now, building something from nothing is about bouncing back. Financial recovery isn't just possible, it is a gateway to reimagining your life and income streams. As a professional woman over 45, moving towards financial resilience and reoccurring income, we have a few steps. Embrace your experience. Your past professional and life experiences are your superpowers. Use them to position yourself as a trusted expert. Then set clear goals. Map out what financial freedom means to you. Define your income targets and timelines. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step towards your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, in Guyana, Minister with responsibility for finance and the public service, Dr. Ashni Singh, has announced a $1.382 trillion national budget. News Source Guyana gives us the breakdown.
In a budget presentation that went on for more than 4 hours, Minister responsible for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, unveiled a massive $1.382 trillion national budget, which is 20.6% larger than last year's budget. He said the budget will be fully financed with no new taxes, but with a heavy dependence on funds from the oil sector. The budget will see hundreds of billions of dollars being injected into the education, health, public infrastructure, and other key sectors. With regards to the measures with effect from the 1st of January 2025, the income tax threshold will be increased from $100,000 to $130,000, the finance minister announced. He said that move to further raise the income tax threshold will put an additional $8.5 billion into the pockets of Guyanese workers.
I now wish, Mr. Speaker, to announce that with effect year of income 2025 this year, the income tax threshold will be increased to $130,000 monthly. Mr. Speaker, it might escape the notice of our colleagues on that side of the House, but what this constitutes us in one term in office, doubling the income tax threshold from $65,000 a month to $130,000 a month. Mr. Speaker, this will result in an additional $8.5 billion of disposable income for workers and the removal of 22,000 persons from the tax net.
Additionally, the government has also taken a decision to reduce the personal income tax rate of 28% to 25% for employed and self-employed workers. Minister Singh said this measure will increase the disposable income of more than 100,000 of taxpayers and is estimated to put about $3.6 billion back into the hands of Guyanese workers. The finance minister also announced a one-off cash grant of $100,000 for newborn babies.
Mr. Speaker, in order to support the development and well-being of one of our most precious and valuable population groups, newborn babies, who will constitute the future of Guyana, our government will provide a one-off grant of $100,000 for every newborn baby born in Guyana to a Guyanese mother.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Paula Gupiscoon, is leading a trade mission to boost exports in Dominica.
The trade mission to Dominica runs from January 19th to the 22nd, 2025. Organized by the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, TTMA, with support from the Ministry of Trade and Industry, MTI, the mission aims to expand business opportunities for local exporters. A delegation of 29 companies from various sectors, including food and beverage, construction, and chemicals, will engage in business-to-business meetings with Dominican buyers. According to a release from the Ministry of Trade, the initiative aligns with the government's Export Booster Initiative, EBI, designed to increase non-energy exports over the next 3 years. Prominent companies such as Angostura Limited, Blue Waters Limited, and Electrical Industries Group are among the participants. Still on the Twin Island Republic, as Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines praised the 110 new officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service during their passing out ceremony on Friday, he also revealed a pressing issue regarding police recruitment. The minister stated that while thousands of aspiring recruits apply to join the TTPS each year, many are turned away due to unmet qualifications.
Thousands of aspiring recruits apply to join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service each year. However, many are turned away due to unmet qualifications, according to Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines.
Whether it is the basic qualification of 5 CSEC, so-called CXC passes, inclusive of Maths and English, or whether it is the basic physical standards of height, or visible tattoos.
Minister Hines said the Commissioner of Police recently indicated that many who approached could not pass the necessary drug tests, psychometric and/or polygraph tests that are necessary to cross the line.
Many failed to meet the standards required when background checks and vetting of necessity was done. Today, for legal, constitutional and other reasons, some of these matters remain unresolved and pose serious challenges to the police organization and, of course, to our country.
He noted that some regional nations struggle to attract recruits, leading them to hire from abroad. While Trinidad and Tobago enjoys high interest in its police service, he said the inability of many to meet entry criteria raises questions.
Questions as to whether there should be equivalency exams or other methods for those who are interested but cannot meet the basic academic or other criteria arise. Whether tattoos that are visible should simply be ignored. But what if these tattoos show marks of some known criminal gang or the other, when, of course, fairness and neutrality are required of the officer?
Despite these challenges, the minister emphasized the importance of high standards, integrity, and continuous learning for the newly minted officers.
Graduates, as you take your first steps forward and into this noble profession, remember that you are going to be held to the highest standards, behaviorally and ethically. You are not only law enforcement officers, but you are also expected to be role models to the citizens that you serve, particularly those of your age group.
Minister Hines urged the new officers to rise to the occasion as the nation counts on them during these challenging times.
You are accountable not only to your seniors, not only to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, but you are accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course accountable to the law, the Constitution, as measured by the courts.
The 110 new recruits are part of an ongoing effort to strengthen the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, with plans to add 1,000 officers to the ranks. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TDT News.
In sports, we start with football, where the competition is heating up in the Jamaica Premier League. Mount Pleasant beat Arnett Gardens 2-0 in their top-of-the-table clash at Drax Hall on Sunday to extend their lead at the top of the standings. Portmore United's Taj Bryan hat-trick led them to a comfortable 4-0 win over last-placed Harbourview at Ferdanita Park. The win kept Portmore in 5th place on goal difference, ahead of Waterhouse, who blanked Vere United 3-0 at Wembley's Centre of Excellence. Tivoli Gardens avenged their first-round loss to Dumba Holding, beating them 2-0. Humber Lion moved off the foot of the points table after avenging their first-round loss to 10-man Chapelton Maroon, winning 1-0 to end a winless run of 10 games. Over now to cricket. The West Indies succumbed to a 137-run defeat by Pakistan on day 3 of their first test match. The result sees Pakistan go 1-up in the series. Adrian Lazar brings us the details.
After ending day 2 on 109 runs, Pakistan was left shell-shocked by the bowling performance of Jamel Warrican. The left-arm bowler took an amazing 7 wickets, which included the likes of Saud Shakil and Muhammad Rizwan, restricting the host to only 157. In the second innings, chasing over 300 runs, the Windies got off to another bad start, with scores of 12 and 13 respectively by Captain Craig Braffett and Mikhail Lewis. Alec Athanaze stepped into the crease, scoring an innings high of 55. The Windies batsmen were once again no match for Pakistan bowlers Sajid Khan and Abar Hamid, who took a combined total of 9 wickets to dismiss the West Indies for 123 after 36.3 overs. West Indies bowler Jamaica Warrican spoke on a career-best performance, which saw him take a total of 10 wickets between both innings.
We just need to keep our head up and trust our game plans and trust the process and be confident. It don't make any sense going into a shell and being down on ourselves about a game that no pass. Sometimes losing is an opportunity to learn. So take the learning from this game and bring it into the game in the future and play better cricket.
While disappointed with the result, Warrican stated that the team must remain positive. The West Indies would be hoping to level the series in the second test, which begins on January 25th, this Saturday. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
The West Indies under-19 women's cricket team opened their ICC Women's T20 World Cup campaign with a 9-wicket defeat against defending champions, India.
The West Indies under-19 women's cricket team opened their ICC Women's T20 World Cup campaign with a 9-wicket defeat against defending champions India. It was a poor batting performance from the Windies as openers Asabi Calendar and captain Samara Ramnath were dismissed for 12 and 3 respectively. 3 wickets by Indian bowler Parinuka Sisodia along with 5 Windies batters failing to register any runs left the West Indies all out for 44 runs after only 13.2 overs. Kanika Kesar top scored with 15. India made quick work of their chase when G. Kamalani and Sanika Chalke combined to score 34 runs. India would go on to a comfortable 9-wicket victory, finishing their innings on 47 for 1 in just 4.2 overs.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.